something I want to show next is the purge command, and that's something that's useful. Let's say that this Yamaha board and this crown amp and this Ashley EQ are old things, and they're just old blocks, and let's just pretend that this is our database. This is the database we're going to be creating. For some reason we've named it drawing 2, which let me just save that briefly. So now it's saved. It's got a, you can see it's got a directory now. So now the drawing 2 is saved. We go back into the design center. These here, the Ashley, the crown amp block, and the Yamaha board, these 2 are in there, but these 3 are not. But they're still there, and why is that? And how do you ask, how do you get rid of these? Can you delete them from here? No. It would be great if you could just delete them from here. It'd be good if you could just delete them from the design center window, but you can't for whatever reason. Maybe it's just so that you can't delete blocks too simply or by mistake, because I guess it could be traumatic if you have thousands. I guess it could be traumatic if you have thousands of blocks and then they go missing. The point is, you can't do it this way. So the way you have to do it is what I'm going to show you next, and that's what I alluded to before. I mentioned slightly before, is the purge command, and you literally just type in purge, and then you'll see it here comes up. And the idea being that let's look at what you cannot purge first. It's just there's certain rules to it. And let's select these 2. You'll recognize these 2. And what it says here is this block cannot be purged if. And it's got a bunch of reasons at the bottom there, and one is if it's nested inside another block, it's inserted in the drawing, and it's attached in an XREF file, and the obvious one is the middle one in this case. It's obvious it's the middle one because they're currently in the drawing. We can see them right there, and that's why they are not allowed. Because they're currently in the drawing, we can see them right there. They're not allowed to be purged, and that's kind of like, again, another. They're not allowed to be purged, and that's another saving grace, I believe. I believe that's in there just so that it's trying to save you from deleting things that you didn't want to. So what I recommend is when you're making your block database, if this was your database and it's on your desktop for some reason. So if this was your block database that you're creating right here, I'd recommend that you keep a file. I would recommend that you keep one of each of the blocks, one copy of each of your blocks that you plan on using and continuing to have in the actual model space at any given time, because then you won't run into this problem. And if you do have some kind of outdated block, which is what we've already established for these ones here, these want to be purged. So what you do is you select them and you say purge. That's basically as simple as it gets. You can also select multiple things. You can also select multiple things and then purge them all together. So when you click purge, it'll ask you the particular name, which is kind of nice of it. Say purge the item, and then purge the item. So purging, what purging does is it deletes. It's another word for delete, pretty much. It flushes it right out of the system, and you'll see it's gone from the design center. It gets rid of it from the local system, and if this was your database, then if you had a particular file that was attributed on the side here to your tool palettes from that database, it also would be gone. I mean, it would be still here probably. If you closed AutoCAD and reopened it, it'll probably show up as an empty icon. Or the next time you click on it, it would do that. Obviously, these ones won't do that because this Motu is referenced in a totally different file than this. We're not working in my block database right now. And again, that's another thing. It's like a saving grace. Once you get everything done, your database is kept safe. Keep copies of it, keep backups, but ultimately, you're not going to manipulate it by mistake. The only way you're going to manipulate it, these can be deleted, by the way. These tool palettes can be deleted and recreated. Again, they don't go back and delete. It doesn't go back and delete the actual local file. These are all just like extending the use of a local file from a different drawing. And I realize I haven't added in the actual, these little designators here, XLR, tip sleeve, or TS. These are little designators that I used to designate the cable lengths. And I didn't add them in because I'll show you what you can do in the next set of tutorials about editing block